Hey ho! It's been a while since I last uploaded a video, so to everyone who is new to my channel, I'm Blanca, German long distance runner and 23 years old. 2025 was a big year for me, setting PBs from the 1500 meters all the way through the half marathon in a time of 69:45 and the 31:51 in the 10K. I increased my mileage, but most importantly, I stayed healthy and consistent throughout the entire year. In this video, I want to look back at what changed for me, what I learned, what helped me to stay so steady, and I also want to show you some race and training camp highlights from Boulder, Colorado and New Zealand as well. So I would say, without further ado, let's jump right into the video. My year kicked off in New Zealand, where I escaped the German winter almost every season. Thanks to my coach, I'm able to train there, and it's become the perfect place to build my early season base. I did some adventure runs on my own, and long runs are one of my favorite sessions anyway, so having endless trails and the beautiful nature felt like paradise. I even got to learn wake surfing thanks to our neighbors, so a big shout out to them. Overall, New Zealand was part adventure, part holiday, but exactly what I needed to stay healthy and build a strong base. After New Zealand, we flew back to Boulder, Colorado to prepare for my season opener, the Berlin Half Marathon. Again, I'm incredibly grateful to my coach. He is the reason I can travel the world and see such amazing places. If you want to see more about Boulder, Colorado or New Zealand, then check out my earlier videos. I can only recommend visiting those two places. So Boulder was where training became more serious. With races getting closer, we shifted to race speed oriented workouts, and a good example would be one of my key sessions, either 8x1K or 5x2K on the road or on the track. Although I prefer the roads. So 3 weeks later, I could look back on my training with joy. Sure, I had my ups and downs like always, but Boulder has a way of making me feel calm and free-spirited. So overall, it was a good block. Hence, heading into the Berlin Half Marathon, I was excited, but honestly unsure about what time to expect. My coach simply told me to stick with the pacemaker for 69:50 and see how it goes. For context, my previous PB was 71:47, a pretty straightforward mission, so to speak. But I managed to break that barrier and finished in 69:45. The relief and happiness afterwards were incredible. I won't go deeper into the race itself here because I already made a separate video about it. If you want the full breakdown, then I will link the video up here for you to watch. Not a bad start to the year, right? But I had many more goals. 2 weeks later, mid-April now, I raced the German Half Marathon Championships and finished second in a time of 70:25. Not exactly what we had trained for, but considering the issues I had leading up to the race, I wasn't too disappointed. I mean, I had some digestive issues, some headache and dizziness, which just made it hard for me to focus on the race, but yeah, it happens sometimes and we moved on. After that, it was time to say goodbye to the road for a while and shift the focus to the track. I went into a big training block in Berlin and hit times I had not run so far. I couldn't be happier with the progress. Even though the overall focus was still relatively high mileage, we sprinkled in a few short races to sharpen my speed. And it worked. I ran a season's best in the 800 meters with 2:14, a distance I hadn't touched since 2020, a PB of 4:20 in the 1500 meters and a 9:16 PB in the 3000 meters. So things were looking like a really good start to my summer season. However, not every race went perfectly and I had competitions where I just didn't feel great. A good example was my 5000 meter race at the end of June. One I expected to be a real breakthrough turned out to be a tough one. Even though I still ran a 6 seconds PB in 15:52, I was anything but happy. I probably had too many all-out short races, too close to those 5000 meter, I don't know really, but eventually I accepted it, reset quickly and shifted my focus to the next big goal, the German Championships on August 1st. To prepare, we headed back to Boulder, Colorado for another training block. About a month this time to get me ready for the big stage. Being very motivated now, I probably overtrained a bit during the first week, but was able to balance it and got some good quality work in. Alongside my 2 weekly key sessions on the track, I also jumped into a 4K road race on Independence Day, just 10 minutes from where I stayed. It was my first race in the US and I ended up winning in 12:55. The atmosphere was incredible, even at such a small event. Let's move on then. As I said, my next race was the German Championships. On August 1st, I won the 5000 meter and finished 4th in a new PB time of 15:41. The race strategy really didn't go as planned though. We started the first kilometer way too slow and I had to run most of it all by myself. So yes, I would have liked to run a bit faster, but at the end of the day, a PB and a 4th place finish is nothing to complain about. But in the future, I'm definitely aiming for a medal. The next day, I doubled back in the 1500 meter semi-final, just for fun as we didn't train much speed. It was a classic slow start into a fast finish. I felt great out there, but couldn't quite match the closing speed. But honestly, I enjoyed racing with people again, because most of my recent races had been time trials where I was basically running alone. This one was real racing, and it was a valuable practice. Overall, I love both road and track. Each gives me something different, and on the health side, I really made progress this year. The past few years came with their challenges, but things have improved significantly. I increased my mileage, enjoyed the process and stayed injury-free. Even though a few races didn't go the way I hoped, I'm proud of the PBs I achieved and the stability I built. So to sum it all up for you guys, my spring and summer season was about proving to myself that I can run beyond my old limits and train consistently without any setbacks. That's something I'm really happy about, and I hope my coach Dieter is happy too. Let's carry on then. After the German Championships, I took some rest. The break though ended up being a bit longer than planned as I got all of my wisdom teeth removed. And to be fair, it wasn't bad at all. I think I might be one of the lucky ones, because I just had a swollen jaw for a few days and for about 2 to 3 weeks I had to stick to softer food. But that's it. About 1 week later I could start running again, slowly but surely. And speaking of downtime, let me give you one tip from my side. Take some real rest after a big training block or a big competition. It helps you refocus and gives your body the chance to absorb all the training. As beautiful as the sport is, it can take a lot of you physically, but also mentally. Keeping a healthy balance means knowing when to push and when to step back. So remember, recovery is key. Okay, to give you a quick overview, so far we have talked a lot about my races and training camps I have been to. And yes, you can probably tell that my whole life basically revolves around running. And that's exactly what I love doing right now. I do have other hobbies, like journaling, meditation, reading and filming, for example, that I enjoy doing outside of running. And in addition to that, I do a lot of activities, or you can call it routines, that are supposed to help my run as well. But I don't go into detail about these routines here though, because, spoiler alert, I want to make a whole series about it so you can improve your run with me together. The name of the series will be Run with Groove, and it will consist of 7 episodes. And each video will focus on one tool that can boost your run. So stay curious and remember to subscribe if you want to be up to date about it. Alright then, now we are at the end of August and my next stop was once again Boulder, Colorado to prepare for my fall season in Germany, where I plan to race a 10K and a half marathon. I stayed from mid-August until early October, plenty of time to enjoy being there and train hard. My training switched back into high mileage mode and I actually hit my first ever 110-mile week. Surprisingly, it felt like second nature to me. My long runs got stronger and my tempo paces improved. I felt like I was building something solid. And the biggest differences compared to last year was how I approached training mentally. Now I focus on quality in the key sessions, I run by feel, and I no longer compare times or worry about splits. The best thing for me though is that I don't check my watch anymore and that I don't even carry it with me on easy runs. So let me know in the comment section if that's something you do too. I'm curious if it resonates with anyone. By the way, you have probably noticed by now that I really like Boulder. I have been here a few times already and I'm so grateful for the support from my coach and my friends that allows me to come back. So to everyone who makes this possible, a huge thank you and a huge hug. All in all, the training up there in Boulder gave me a huge boost of motivation heading into the 10K and half marathon. But honestly, I was a bit unsure about the 10K as we didn't train much speed. And since I always want to show up with a solid race, I treated the 10K more like a test. Like, what can I run of a mainly high mileage based training? That's the kind of training I prefer anyway, but therefore it makes it hard for me to set a time goal as it's a rather short race compared to my rather high volume training. Despite all that, I was really looking forward to the race. So after Boulder, we flew back, and on October 6th, we finally had German ground under our feet again, 7 days out from the Great 10K in Berlin at the Charlottenburg Palace. Leading up to the race, I felt good and was curious to see what kind of time my body would give me. The weather, however, was not exactly great for me, cold, red and windy, but I was so grateful that I could stick with the first bowman and 2 guys in the race. We managed to run as a group for at least 8K. As I mentioned earlier, most of my previous races were basically me running alone against the clock, so having people to run with changed the race feeling completely, and I think that made a big difference. Honestly, to my mind, it's one of the reasons I was able to run 31:51, take over 1 minute PB and finished second. I was absolutely over the moon. I didn't know my time during the race. I ran by feel, no time checking, and not even right at the finish. When friends told me, I couldn't believe it. Running that fast with so little speed work made me think, what could I run with an actual 10K prep? And so this race gave me huge confidence leading into the half marathon 2 weeks later. Unfortunately, that half marathon turned into a bust in terms of running a PB. Atmosphere-wise, it was fantastic. The organization was flawless, race day support was amazing, and I felt really looked after. Huge thank you to everyone involved. But the weather had different plans. My goal was to go for a new PB that meant running under 69:45 and maybe end my 2025 season on a high. But the wind, cold and rain just didn't allow for fast times that day. Still, I crossed the finish line as the first Roman and ran 71:45, so at least I knew I was in shape. It was simply a tough weather day for all of us. Now the question was, end my season or start another adventure? Originally, the plan was to wrap my season after the half marathon, but the performance left me with a little itch. My legs still wanted one more project, and mentally I felt still hungry to race. So 1 week after the race, the decision was made. Right around that time, my coach reached out to the marathon project. It's a marathon that was first held in 2020, but hadn't returned since, until now. They decided to bring it back on December 21st in Phoenix, Arizona. Honestly, if that opportunity hadn't come up, I would have ended my season right there. But something about it felt right. I still had time to build some fitness, and I could combine it with another training camp in Boulder, Colorado as well. So the preparation in Boulder itself wasn't huge, just 6 weeks. It included 2 weeks of my highest mileage ever, then a rest week followed by 3 weeks of tapering with a few key sessions. Surprisingly, everything came to me very naturally. I especially enjoyed the long runs. They were smooth, fun and exactly the type of training I love. I felt in great shape, and I'm really happy that I was able to stay injury-free throughout the entire year, even with a little marathon build at the end. But unfortunately, my 2025 season didn't end the way I would have hoped. 1 week before my first marathon start, I caught a cold. We still traveled to Phoenix, Arizona, assuming that I would recover in time, but awkwardly it only got worse. On race day morning, we made the decision not to start. As you can imagine, that was incredibly tough for me. I was frustrated, sad and honestly heartbroken. Still, I want to give a huge thank you to the organizers and the Hoka team for creating such an amazing event. Despite everything, I was over the moon, meeting so many kind people, having my very first press conference and seeing Arizona for the first time. Those experiences meant more to me than I expected.
We have an international athlete joining us from Germany. Blanca, welcome. Blanca Dorfeld is coming in here making her marathon debut, and she's got a couple of really impressive performances on the road this year as she leads into Sunday's race. She's run 31:52 for 10K and 109:46 for the half marathon. So we're looking forward to seeing how that translates into a marathon debut.
I think it wasn't really the question if I want to do a marathon. The question was just when. I would say it doesn't matter what anybody else does. It's just about you, about your rhythm, about your stride. You have to feel good, and it doesn't matter if the other person goes faster than you or something, you have to be in your own mind and rhythm, and I hope everybody out there will have a great day tomorrow.
By now I'm feeling healthy again and I have had some time to reflect on my 2025 year. There are definitely ups and downs, but now I know a little bit more what works for me and what doesn't. Just knowing that I can handle high mileage without issues gives me plenty of confidence heading into this year. Right now I just want to enjoy running. I want to appreciate the calm, to be present, to feel happy doing it. And for that I'm incredibly grateful to relax in New Zealand. We arrived at the beginning of January and since it's summer here, it honestly feels like the perfect place to recharge. The warm sun, the nature, the water, it's exactly what I need to reconnect with myself. By the time the video goes live, I will already have started easing back into training again here in New Zealand, with some aqua jogging, some biking and easy runs. Nothing crazy though. I'm slowly increasing my mileage step by step. I'm not rushing anything because I have a long season ahead of me and I want to build it the right way. Patiently, consistently and listening to my body. Right now, it's just about enjoying the process, letting the miles come naturally and trusting that steady progress will take me where I want to go. And before I wrap up this video, I want to say one more thing. I'm really working on bringing out more consistent content. I know I haven't always been the most regular with uploads, but that's something I genuinely want to improve. I love sharing this journey with you and that's why I want to show up more consistently. I even invested in a new camera and a new drone to create better content for you. And I'm really excited about that. With that being said, thanks for watching. I hope you learned something from it or at least you enjoyed my 2025 running journey. If you want to follow along, you are free to like and subscribe. Have a great day or night wherever you are. See you next time and always remember, run with groove.